Power is my favorite character in Chainsaw Man. She's a fiend, which basically means that she was once a devil who then occupied and animated a human corpse. And her defining characteristic, at least as Makima describes it, is that she has a certain kind of intelligence that other fiends tend to lack. Or depending on the translation that you're working with, you might hear Makima say that Power is more rational than other fiends. And the idea behind this intelligence or rationality is that Power's mind is constituted in such a way that she's able to integrate into society, almost as though she's a human. And this makes Power different from most other fiends. Most other fiends kill humans on sight, but not Power. And of course, it's not as though Power loves human beings or anything like that. She's actually inclined to despise them. But when Makima happened to capture Power for public safety, she found that Power could be reasoned with in a way that other fiends could not. And Makima was able to render Power obedient and reasonably peaceful in a way that she could not achieve with other fiends. And so due to Power's social intelligence, Makima decided to utilize Power as an agent who hunts devils for humanity, for public safety. But the thing that I find most interesting about Power is that she didn't always have this social intelligence. She wasn't always the kind of creature that could be reasoned with in the way that Makima was able to accomplish. And we know this from some flashbacks to Power's former life prior to her time with public safety. These flashbacks reveal that Power used to live as a kind of feral, bloodthirsty monster who roamed the wilderness to kill literally anything she saw on sight and devour its flesh whole. She had never experienced sympathy or compassion. She had never experienced love. She probably didn't even know what these concepts were. And if Makima had discovered Power when she was in that condition, then Makima would have definitely ended her life instead of training her to join public safety. But luckily, something happened to Power before she met Makima, which taught her the social intelligence that Makima found interesting enough to spare Power's life. What happened is, Power fell in love with a cat. It was her pet, whose name is Meowy. But the funny thing about this story is that Power didn't originally acquire this pet Meowy on purpose. She discovered it in the middle of her feral era when she was still slaughtering and devouring animals indiscriminately. But one day she stumbled on this cat which was simply too malnourished and too skin and bones to be worth eating. But the thing is, Power's instinct to eat literally every living thing that she encountered was so powerful that she could not simply abandon this worthless, malnourished little animal. She decided to take it into her care, not with the intention of being its friend, but in order to fatten it up until it was ready to become her delicious little treat. And so she kept the cat, she called it Meowy, and she gave it food. But this obviously made Meowy very happy. Even though it was technically a prisoner, Meowy was living its best life and getting free food from the best friend that it ever had. And so Meowy became very affectionate with Power. She cuddled with her, she gave her loving little mews. She treated Power like her friend and companion. And for obvious reasons, this was the first time that Power had ever received affection and love from another living creature. And Power discovered, much to her surprise, that she loved this love, and she loved the cat who loved her. And so it was that Meowy melted Power's heart and taught her the meaning of friendship. And Power's plans with Meowy changed accordingly. She continued to take care of Meowy, but now it was no longer with the intention of fattening up a delicious little treat. Now Power was simply taking care of her friend and living entirely for the sake of this friendship and love. And I also believe that this life-changing love for Meowy is literally the mechanism that gave Power the social intelligence that I mentioned at the beginning of this video. As you will recall, this social intelligence allows Power to integrate peaceably into human society in a way that very few fiends are able to do. It's all because Meowy taught Power that not every creature has to be your food. Sometimes a creature can simply be your friend. And perhaps there are even other uses that creatures can have for you that do not involve slaughtering them and devouring their flesh. And of course, that is absolutely the fundamental lesson that you have to learn if you want to participate in human society at all. And that is why I say that Power's love for Meowy is the mechanism that gave Power the social intelligence that she needed for Makima to recognize that Power could integrate into human society and be useful to public safety after all. But of course, I don't mean to imply by any of this that Power was suddenly 100% ready to be a part of human society once she fell in love with Meowy. This was really just the first step to Power's ultimate socialization. Some other events had to occur before Power would also realize that she could treat humans in just the same way that she treats her pet cat. And those events are a story for another day, but the principle behind them is always the same. Power's social intelligence, which gives her the unique ability as a fiend to deal peaceably with other living beings, is not a function of some kind of special power that she was born with. It's a result of circumstances in her life that opened her up to the experience of love and friendship. And being loved loved, and having a friend has this tendency to domesticate even the most violent spirit, such as powers. Because at the end of the day, it is love and friendship that constitute the true origin of the kind of rationality that is required for an intelligent creature to participate as a peaceful member of society.